neon lights flashing in the dark of the night. I'm playing Pac-Man, it's my second life. The joysticks in my hand, I'm unstoppable. High score secrets, I've got them all unlocked. Memories rush back like a time machine. Take me back to the arcade, where I spent my younger days. In the black lights glowing on a pocket full of tokens. Dance and groove to the beat. On the pixelated screen we meet. New wave melodies playing loud. Lost in the arcade, my heart is found. With hair and red fashion, we were all quite excited. Popping tokens in the cabinet, it's the thrill of the fight. We saved the world through pixelated dreams. We're the greatest generation with a faded acid genes. Take me back to the...
Hi, everyone. Welcome to day one, stream one of our breakout sessions. I'm Amanda Fox, your host, and I want to give an amazing shout out to our sponsors. Swivel, the AI educator, and Rosebud are today's powerhouses. We're giving away some swag at the end of this session, so contribute in the comments, stick around, and I want to put one of these t-shirts on you or your pick of whatever's on the merch website. Our next speaker we have right here is going to be talking about bringing characters to life, AI chatbots in the classroom. Are you looking for a creative way to incorporate AI into your instruction? Look no further, because you're in the right stream. Shana, would you like to tell them a little bit about yourself before we dive into the presentation?
Sure. My name is Shana Ramin. I'm super excited to be here and to see all of you here as well. I'm a technology integration specialist. I love technology, all things AI, really exciting stuff happening. And I am, again, really excited that you guys are all here. This is awesome. So thank you for being here.
I love that we picked the same color shirts too.
Yes, the best colors. I was so excited when I saw this color. So excited.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, I'm going to pop down and let you go. I'm already loving the first slide. Like, I taught 6th grade history, and we did a lot of ancient Aztecs, Egyptians, like ancient civilizations. So yeah, pop down and let you have it.
Awesome. Yeah, shout out to Microsoft Designer for creating these images. So everything in here was created using DALL-E 3, Microsoft Designer, and ChatGPT, like the graphics and all that good stuff. So awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Today's goal is going to be to share some creative and keyword responsible ways to utilize AI character chatbots in the classroom. If you wouldn't mind, I know some of you have already said hello. If you could just kind of drop in the chat your name, where you're from, your role, subject area, whatever applies to you. Just would love to see kind of who's out there and get a feel for what we've got going on. So feel free to introduce yourself in the chat, and I'm just going to keep going since I know we're running a little bit behind and I got a lot of good stuff to share. So this is a little bit about me. Like I said before, technology integration specialist. I'm a former middle school ELA and journalism teacher, so a lot of what I do kind of comes through that lens, but I work with K-12 teachers. So I, have been able to work with some social studies teachers doing some really cool stuff with character chatbots, and some upper elementary teachers, and even some high school history teachers as well. So a lot of good stuff going on. And you can find me on Twitter/X at Shana Teaches, and at Instagram, Hello Teacher Lady. I'm more active on Instagram, I would say. So if you, have an Instagram and you like tech tips and tutorials, that's kind of my thing. So feel free to follow me over there. Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla. Priscilla's my coworker. You are very sweet for being here. Hi, Jen. Hi, Scott. Hi, Dustin. Hi, Rachel. So excited that you guys are here. Awesome. You guys are great. Okay. So here we go. I know Amanda mentioned that she does have some swag, but I also have some swag to give away. So stick around to the end, and I have this tote that I will be giving away. So I don't know what Amanda's got going on, but I have this as a separate little, prize for you. So All right, so what is an AI character chatbot? You probably already know this because you are here, but in general, character chatbot is a type of chatbot designed to mimic the voice of real or historical or fictional figures. Again, coming from a middle school ELA background, I would love the opportunity to create chatbots for fictional characters, but I've also, used this with some real historical figures as well. So, obviously, I'm sure we've all used a chatbot before. So it's just a chatbot that has that specific like prompting and programming to respond as though they were that person. Why might we use an AI character chatbot? Number one, it's interactive, it's fun, and can really create like those personalized like learning paths. It's versatile and adaptable to almost like any subject area or topic. And what I really like about this is that it helps promote digital literacy and responsible use of AI. Whenever I am talking to teachers, like the number one thing that they are wondering is like, how can I teach my students how to use these tools in a responsible and ethical way? And I really do think that character chatbots is one sort of avenue to help us get to that point. There are a lot of really cool things that we can teach students about AI through the use of a character chatbot. And I'll talk a little bit more about that little bit later on, but I just think it's such a great way to promote digital literacy and that responsible use of AI. When can we use a character chatbot? The short answer is like literally anytime. At the beginning of a unit, it's a really cool tool to like spark curiosity, gauge prior knowledge when introducing a topic, supporting class discussions, critical thinking, all of that good stuff. Or you could use it at the end of the unit to summarize key concepts and reinforce the learning. So basically, works really well in the beginning, works really well in the middle, and works really well at the end. So again, super versatile, adaptable, lots of good stuff. Okay, what chatbot platforms should I use? I really do try to shy away from like pushing one platform on anyone. I think there's a lot of cool platforms out there. These are some of the three that I would personally recommend. These are the three that I have used, and for various reasons, I would recommend those. So I'm going to talk mostly about like the kind of theories and strategies behind character chatbots without trying to really push a platform on you. But I do have a favorite, but I'll share that a little bit later. Just kind of go into each one of these. School AI, you've probably heard of. It's a really great tool. Teachers can create spaces where students interact with an AI chatbot on an assigned topic. They have lots of other types of chatbots. It's not exclusive to character chatbots. But what I love about School AI is that there's no student login required. There's a ton of existing spaces, and you can create your own spaces as well. And built-in summary and monitoring controls, so you can see what students are what they're inputting, and it will give you sort of like these AI generated summaries. COPA and FERPA compliant, or COPA COPPA. We can argue about how to pronounce that. I don't really know. In the chat, COPA COPPA, FERPA compliant, which is really great. We always want a tech tool to be compliant with all those fun acronyms. And the one limitation I would say is it does have a 75 participant limit per day if you have a new account for the free version. So I did want to mention that, but I feel like there are some ways we can work with partners and kind of get around that. But School AI, like number one, awesome, good stuff. There's also Magic School, which recently came out with Magic Student. So that will allow teachers to create rooms that grant access to like a curated collection of the Magic tools. Again, no student login required. So from a data privacy perspective, and also just from like a ease of use perspective, love to see that. Also has built-in summary and monitoring control, so you're not just sending students off to like chat with a mysterious chatbot. You are able to see that input. Again, COPA and FERPA compliant. The one thing I would say with Magic School or Magic Student versus School AI, I personally don't find it as easy to customize the prompt and the language. So sometimes the responses are really wordy, and students can. New York's EdLaw. Okay, School AI, good to know. Awesome stuff in the chat. Thank you. School AI is fire. I totally agree. So I feel like School AI is a little bit easier for the teacher to customize the prompt up front, but students can, when they're talking to Magic School, I did one with like the Very Hungry Caterpillar, and it was coming out with like pages and pages of text. And so once the student kind of says like, hey, can you simplify this a little bit? It does, kind of simplify things a little bit. So just a note on that. And then there's also a Codebreaker Byte, which is a really simplistic chatbot platform. Again, just a general chatbot platform. There's no student or teacher login required. So if you are someone that is like hesitant to create an account on any of these platforms, you could definitely test this out. You will need students to prompt the chatbot to act as the character, and there aren't any summary or monitoring controls, so just be mindful of that. Again, doesn't collect or share student information, which is always good. A limitation, I feel like, is it's built into the Codebreaker website, so there's like navigation menus and other things. It's part of like a bigger website, so it could be a little bit distracting. So customize the tools in Magic Student. They added that feature recently. Okay, cool. I will have to check that out. I was playing around with it a little bit earlier, and I was still kind of getting like really long responses. So maybe I just need to play with the prompt a little bit more. So I'll try that out. Thank you. All right. A quick note about choosing AI tools. Always check the privacy policy of any tool to make sure that you are looking at how it handles student data, especially if student accounts are required. I know my colleague Priscilla will appreciate this slide. Make sure that the tool is in compliance with laws like COPA and FERPA, and then it does not engage in any red flag behavior. So if you're looking at the privacy policy, like what do you look for? You want to look for like personalized advertising. Does it share student data with third parties? Does it use student input to train future models? These are all red flags in a tool where I would say like, okay, we're not using this tool. I would not recommend this tool. Again, the 3 tools that I have recommended today all fit this criteria. So I do want to mention that, but in case you hear of a new tool and you're like, oh, I really want to try this, always check the privacy policy. You would be surprised. Some popular tools or some things I'm looking at, I'm like, ooh, that has some red flags. So just kind of be aware of what to look for in there. So little disclaimer on choosing technology tools. Okay, so how can we use AI character chatbots? So I have, Priscilla, okay. How can I use AI character chatbots? I put some subject areas in here, but if you have any other ideas in your subject area or in here that's not listed, like feel free to drop them in the chat. Again, my English language arts brain, literary characters, I think this would be awesome. Chatting with an author, I think would be really cool. Science, you could ask a famous scientist. You could have an inquiry agent sort of guiding students through, the scientific process. In history, for example, I worked with a middle school social studies teacher, and she was looking at using this to potentially like introduce a unit on ancient Egypt. And so we prompted School AI chatbot to be like the average citizen of ancient Egypt, and students could chat with it to learn about like its life and times. And I actually have that chatbot available. I have like a slide in a little bit that you'll be able to try that one out. It was very, very cool stuff. Math, I will be honest, I do not have a math brain, so ask a mathematician, sure. Like maybe there's a famous mathematician that you could have students chat with. But if I have any math people in the audience, feel free to give me some other ideas. Again, I actually did this whole chart and realized I forgot math. So I had to like redesign it and put math back on. So I apologize to any math people in the audience, but feel free to drop your ideas in the chat. World language, cultural ambassador, somebody from that particular region or culture, just kind of guide students through what life is like. Language acquisition practice, I've had some world language teachers use chatbots that are programmed in like that language, so they can kind of talk back and forth. Dustin, I forgot about math too. Yeah, it's not just me. Ooh, Rachel, Wax Museum Project. Love it. Love the idea of time traveling to another era. Yeah, so a lot of really cool ideas. My journalism teacher brain, I'm thinking of like interview practice. This would have been so cool to teach students about interviewing, the difference between like open and closed-ended questions. That would be really cool. I recently created a space for someone, chat with a famous muckraker who were like the investigative journalists, like the early investigative journalists, and that was a really cool chat space as well. So lots of really cool ideas. And then if you could, I know we've already got a few ideas in the chat, but what are some other ways? Maybe you have used AI character chatbots. Feel free to drop that in the chat. Or maybe how could you use AI character chatbots? So have we sparked any ideas for you? So feel free to drop those in the chat. I really like that Wax Museum. I've seen people use it for biographies, Chaucer. Ooh, an escape room. I love it. Escape room with AI, School AI, haven't perfected it yet. I think that's awesome. I love it. Feel free to share that when you do. That looks awesome. Spill the tea, conversations with the founding fathers. Ooh, I like it. All right, you guys got some good stuff. So feel free to keep brainstorming in the chat. Again, because we are a little short on time, I'm gonna over to the next slide. Working on some Rosebud escape bots, as you guardian. Oh, cool, I love it. Okay, you guys are awesome, thank you. Keep them coming. Okay, some considerations for responsible use. So I really like to think about not only like the tools that we can use and what we can do with them, but also like how can we use them responsibly? Because I think just creating a chatbot and kind of sending it off to students is not necessarily the best instructional strategy. So a few things I want to mention. Choosing character interactions wisely. So consider the ethical implications of interacting with certain characters who might hold offensive or prejudicial views. I was talking to someone recently and they were like, yeah, we probably shouldn't create like a Christopher Columbus chatbot. Like probably not the best idea. So just be mindful of the characters that you are creating and thinking about, how different students might engage with that chatbot, and also, just again, thinking about use your professional judgment, obviously, that. Understanding the impacts of bias in training data. So another thing to think about is be mindful of like the biases in AI's training data that might impact portrayals of certain characters, especially of marginalized groups. I had someone bring up like Harriet Tubman, for example, since a lot of this training data, might be, created, and we have seen in a lot of ways kind of bias towards like white males. Maybe that is something that we need to consider in a portrayal of somebody who is not a white male, right? So being mindful of that as well. And then I mentioned this already about protecting user data privacy, selecting tools that comply with strict data privacy standards, but also encouraging students to avoid sharing that information with AI as well. Even though the tools that I've recommended, what I love about them is like with School AI and Magic School, student input is not used to like train future models. It's not stored in any way. So that's yay, we love it. But even so, we still want to make sure that students are mindful of not sharing, any personalized information or personally identifiable information with a chatbot. So just, teachers being mindful and students being mindful as well. Introducing essential knowledge first. So if you are going to use an AI character chatbot in the classroom, again, you really want to make sure that you can front load information to students about how chatbots work, ensuring that students understand the capabilities and the limitations of chatbots before they start using them. I apologize if you can hear my dog barking in the background. She is barking at something. She's also deaf, so she can't hear if we tell her to be quiet. So anyway, introducing essential knowledge first. Making sure that students understand how chatbots work, like they are basically predicting the most likely next word or phrase, like given the context of the conversation. So like what is most likely to come next, like that's what they are churning out. They're not, fact checking. They don't have moral codes or anything like that. And they are just kind of the input or the output that you are getting is probabilistic, not factual, right, necessarily. So being mindful of that. Modeling critical consumption. So with the social studies teacher I mentioned, when we were looking at different ways to utilize these chatbots, we had an idea where we would do like a KWL chart, and then students would say like, okay, what do you know? What do you want to know? And then at the end, what did you learn? Okay, now let's fact check that. Treat it like any other source where you would critically consume that information, making sure that you are using reliable sources to confirm like any facts that were presented, so students understand that AI can be wrong. It can be very wrong. And, students need to be aware of that. And I saw this quote somewhere. I apologize. I actually tried to Google it and I couldn't figure out where it was from, but I've heard it in different forms. Making sure that students know AI is friendly, but it's not your friend. Emphasize that AI can simulate friendly interactions, but does not possess real consciousness, moral codes, or real emotions. Like, it is not sentient in any way. And I think it's actually really difficult for students and even adults, I think, sometimes to understand this. I was talking recently to a 6th grade teacher who was using chatbots in her classroom, and she found that students really, they didn't understand why the chatbot would say, I'm happy to help, when it's not actually happy because it doesn't have emotions. It can't be happy. They had a really hard time with that concept. Like, why would it say it's happy to help if it's not happy to help? Like, it has to have these emotions because it's, saying that it has these emotions. So that was really difficult for them. And then I was talking to a 12th grade teacher who had been using chatbots, and she said the exact same thing. So I thought it was really interesting that a 6th grade teacher using the chatbots in their classroom and a 12th grade teacher using chatbots, their students both really struggled with that concept that AI is not sentient. Like, it doesn't have real emotions. It doesn't have a moral code. It does not possess consciousness, and they know it. But when you're interacting with it, it's kind of difficult to see that. So just be mindful of that if you are utilizing this in your classroom. I'm just kind of checking the chat to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, moving along. So I would love for us to explore. So I am going to drop a couple links in the chat, or you're welcome to scan the QR codes on the screen. But these are two chatbots that I have. It says the comment has failed to post. Let me try to post them individually. Two chatbots that I have created. Comment has failed to post for some reason. I do not know why it is saying that, so I apologize. Maybe it doesn't like links. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm sorry, it's not posting. But if you want to scan the QR code with your phone, maybe you can participate. I'll keep trying to post the link. I'm not sure why it's not posting. So I don't know if Amanda. Oh yeah, okay. Yes. Okay. Challenge with teaching students AI is not your friend is seeing the new GPT release today. Ooh, I have not had a chance to dig into that yet. So let's see. Okay. So I have one is the chat with an average citizen of ancient Egypt to learn more about their daily life. The other one is Edgar Allan Poe. Is anyone able to get on? Again, I would try to post this in the chat, but it's not. I do want to take just a couple minutes to let you experience what it would be like from a student perspective. Again, this is with School AI, so it does have summary and monitoring controls. I probably will not go in and look at your responses, but I do have that potential, just FYI. So, don't say this is the worst session ever, because I could see that. But okay, cool. So we do have a few folks being able to get on. And again, I'm trying to post the link, but it says, oh, thank you, Amanda. Yeah, it was telling me this comment has failed to post. Doesn't like me. So I appreciate that. So Amanda just put the link in the chat to, hopefully it's right. Thank you, I appreciate that. But again, you can scan the QR code with your phone as well if you just hover the camera over. It will scan. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a quick 2-minute here. And then I'm gonna, I do have a slide for this in just a second, but if you are chatting and you have any observations, things that you noticed, feel free to drop those in the chat. I will sort of ask for some thoughts on the next slide. Yes, that's a really good point, Amanda. The great for littles, you can hit speak and talk to it versus type. So that's a really great feature to point out. Thank you. Can type on the computer, can't do anything on my phone. Oh no. Okay, so we'll take about 1 more minute and then we'll just kind of chat. And if you are, I've heard from people that say the Poe one is very wordy. So you're welcome to see what happens if you prompt it to say hey, can you simplify your language a little bit? Or can you talk in a more modern way? Yeah, Poe was wordy, exactly. I haven't tweaked that one yet. I did this at another, in one of my districts, and that was their feedback. Poe is very wordy and alliterative. Yeah, exactly. Remembering anything that is not the Raven. Okay, Heidi says had to turn the phone landscape to get the message ability to come up. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Heidi. All right. I told the ancient Egyptian citizen that I was a first grader and it seemed to respond at an appropriate level. Thank you, Rachel. I asked the ancient Egypt one about what they eat because I'm hungry. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to kind of move on to the next slide, but you're welcome to continue chatting, but just to do a quick kind of share out, how was that experience? I know we've kind of thrown some things in the chat. What did you notice? What are you wondering? And did this spark any other ideas for you about how you might utilize an AI character chatbot, specifically like in school AI. I do have an example from Magic School that we will look at in just a minute, so you can kind of see how they compare. O is my favorite. Literally go for the Ravens because I learned they're named after his poem, The Raven. Good to know. If I knew what sport that was, I would root for them too. Sports are not my thing. Unreliable narrative, had students write their own. Awesome. Ooh, we made a podcast. NFL. Okay, NFL. All right. So yeah, football. I definitely don't know that one, but I'm rooting for him. Okay, cool. So with the like prompting of school AI, I don't have a slide that kind of like shows you the back end of it, but it is very cool when you can actually go in and see like how each person kind of responded. It will give you sort of summaries and it will tell you like where each person sort of took the conversation. So it will say like, oh, Priscilla is interested in learning more about the eating habits of ancient Egyptians. And it gives you those little summaries, which are really helpful to see like, one, were students engaged? And two, like what were they interested in? So you can kind of see like, oh, all of my students were really interested in like the dining habits of ancient Egyptians. Like I'm going to make sure that we talk about that. So it's a very cool, the summaries are very cool. That's why if I had to like suggest a tool, like of the three that I mentioned, I really do like the ones with the monitoring, like School AI and Magic School. But again, like Codebreaker Byte has, has its strengths at being something that teachers don't even really have to log into. Whole group discussions work well with the littles, great opportunity for elementary teachers. Yes, help students explore the chatbot. I agree. So a limitation of School AI is 75 participants per day. So for middle school student or teachers, that can be kind of a hindrance, but I really do think that even in middle school, having students work in partnerships can be really powerful. I've talked to some teachers that have used School AI and they've done it like with and without partnerships and found that students are more engaged when they're working with another person and they have like more like engaging conversations about, oh, what are they going to, what are we going to say and how are we going to respond, and sort of reading the responses together. So I do think that even though that is a limitation of the tool, I think it could actually be something that we can work with. Made bots to help students with calming strategies, self-regulation. I love it. Cool. Okay. I am going to go over here and hopefully this one's a little bit easier to get into. It looks like the URL is a little bit easier. It's just student.magicschool.ai and then there's the code. So again, I apologize that I can't put the links in the chat, but I did Jonas from the Giver because that was like the first novel that I ever taught. And so whenever I have examples that I have to come up with, like it's always Jonas from the Giver. I don't know why. So we've got Jonas from the Giver, and he would like to chat with you about some themes and symbolism in the novel and maybe explain why he decided to leave the community. And then we've also got an average citizen of Michigan, because that's where I'm from. And I created that one to show some of my elementary school teachers what they could do with school or with, School AI and Magic School. This one's Magic School. And so you can talk to an average citizen of Michigan during the year of its founding. So if you want to just take a few more minutes to explore, let's do. There we go. I'll put another 2-minute timer on. Yes, Scott, I have heard from people that it would be nice to be able to customize the voices. Like Poe had the voice of a woman when speak was used. I've heard a few people say that option. Or that would be nice as an option. Yeah, request custom voice or gender as a feature. That would be awesome. I think both of these tools are really like receptive to user feedback. So that's definitely something that we could utilize. The acknowledgement for students when they enter the room in Magic Student, Rachel, that's a really good point. I do like that as well. So you'll notice in Magic School, in School AI, it just kind of like took you right into the chatbot. In Magic School, there's a couple of things that kind of students have to click to prompt through. That's one thing where I was like, yeah, the responsibility acknowledgement. I do really like that a lot. I found that, trust me, I've asked that, said we need more magic. Yeah, Alan, that would be great. Maybe if we keep requesting it, they will add it. But I've had students that are using the Magic Student one, and you can also change the prompt too. So we've sent it out where we were like, okay, we're, Jonas from the Giver. And then they were like, I want to be Rosemary. And I was like, don't be Rosemary. It didn't go well for her. So, that is an option with Magic School that you don't necessarily have to worry about as much with School AI, but again, pros and cons to each. So, all right, let's take about 20 more seconds. And then again, feel free to drop any observations in the chat, differences, things that you've noticed, all that good stuff. Yes, the responses tend to be very wordy. That's one thing that School AI, I think, does really well, is you can, when you create a space in School AI, like I always say, like, be concise, responses are like a couple sentences. So you can like really engage like the chatbots, like you sort of change the language like ahead of time. With Magic School, I've like been able to do that to a certain extent. I don't feel like it listens as much because I did try with the Michigan Citizen. It was like giving me like a 5-paragraph essay about the life and times of Michigan citizens, and I was like, dude, like bring it down. So I think I was able to bring it down a little bit, but if you were in that one, it might have still been a little bit wordy. So that's something where I think it's important to show students and help students understand how they can further prompt the chatbot. I was in a session with teachers and some of them didn't realize that they could change the language. It was the Poe one and they were like, I don't understand anything he's saying. Like, this is really frustrating. And they didn't realize that they could go in and actually say like, hey, can you simplify this a little bit? So, if adults sometimes struggle with that, I think it's important that we help students, understand that as well. So some good observations. Oh, Kelly, you're here too. You are very sweet. Kelly is my coworker too. Responded to a couple prompts and it said, I don't understand. It just said, I don't understand, and it helped. Okay, that's good. Yes, prompt engineering is an art. We are all still experimenting. Yeah, Priscilla, Lake Michigan is a good lake. I think that might be the best one. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna move along here. Same kind of thing. Again, how was your experience? What did you notice? What are you wondering? Did this spark any ideas? Again, in the interest of time, I'm going to keep going, but feel free to continue the conversation in the chat. Okay, so some instructional strategies. Again, kind of with the previous slides of like things that students kind of need to know. I think that there are some things that teachers need to know as well when utilizing chatbots. And you don't just want to like throw a chatbot at students and be like, here you go, here's a chatbot. So graphic organizers seem to be really effective, helping students structure their thoughts and questions prior to the AI interaction. I found that KWL charts work really well. Like, what do you know? What do you wonder? What do you want to know? And then going back as a reflection piece of like, well, what did you learn? Okay, now let's like fact check that. Mind maps, I've seen some teachers use that have been really helpful, but just thinking about in advance, like, what do you want out of this interaction and helping students figure out what they want out of that interaction, I think is really important. So graphic organizers, like my jam, love them. Collaborative learning, we sort of talked about this, but encouraging students to talk to each other like while they are talking with the chatbot. So exchanging ideas, perspectives through collaborative discussion and engagement. So working in partnerships can be really helpful for this, or maybe afterwards doing like a quick little debrief before you come back together as a class. Do you pay for School AI? No, I don't know if I think you're talking to me. I'm not sure if you're talking to anybody else, but no, I personally do not. I was lucky enough I created an account when they still had the 150 limit of spaces or space interactions per day. So I still have that feature, but it is 75 now. But no, I do not currently pay for that. Reflection and discussion protocols is another one. I'm a big fan of like visible thinking routines. If you just Google like visible thinking routines for reflection, there's a lot of really good ones. allowing students to articulate their experiences with AI chatbots using structured protocols can be very helpful. Yeah, the free version is pretty good. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what else the free versus paid version has. I've never really wanted for anything else other than some of my middle school teachers really do want that 150 interaction. When I recently looked, it said 50 sessions. Oh no, did they change it again? That would kind of be a bummer. I've been telling people 75. All right, we gotta send them some feedback. So anyway, another discussion protocol that I really like is that I used to think, now I think. So having students at the end kind of say like, I used to think this about this topic and now I think about this way about the topic. I've done like a 3, 2, 1. So like 3 things, that 2 questions that you have, 1 thing you learned, that kind of thing. So love a visible thinking routine. If you just Google visible thinking, like I said, a lot of really cool stuff comes up. But I do find that those types of activities can be really helpful when structuring your time with a chatbot. 150 as well. Yeah, I'm
All
probably really
right.
bummed that they changed it to 50.
We
All
are
right, so
we're getting close to that. I just wanted to ask you really quick. I know you said you weren't going to look at your data and see who said what, but that's how we're going to determine who participated.
oh,
Give
okay,
away
cool.
some swag. I don't know how you were going to give stuff away, but
Yeah, so I do have this resource slide here. So there's a KWL chart with some like stuff, and there's a little poster here that has like chatbot prompts. This slide is a credit slide, and this slide, if you want the presentation slides, you can go to bit.ly/Shana Week of AI. And if you complete a session survey, I have the opportunity for you to win this awesome little tote bag. So you can go to bit.ly/Shana Week of AI survey, and there's a little survey on there. And there is, if you complete the survey and then say like, enter me to win, like you're entered. But then I also have some like bonus entries, like maybe you want to sign up for my email list, or maybe you want to follow me on Instagram. Like those are bonus entries. So that is my little swag giveaway. But I know Amanda's got something going on too. So
I do. So basically, if you go to weekofai.ai and look at the merch page, you get to pick what you want. So, but I want you to go and I want you to see who participated in the chatbot thing and who was the most engaged. So that's how we're going to do it.
Sounds good. I am heading in there now. Looking at the chat too. The graphic organizer of what they learned, then ask if they can go fact check it. Yeah, I think that's a really good like way to emphasize that AI chatbots sound very confident, but they are not always they're not always right. All right, hold on. I have to 2-factor authenticate.
Oh, I love it. I don't, but yeah.
Yeah,
at least you're being safe. Or you were forced into being safe.
All right, so I've got sort by most recent.
I've got all 3 streams going at the same time. And they've ended theirs, but at the end of every stream, Erica's, and the end of it is with her face is always like right here. So I'm screenshotting every single time I've got that little close up of her. I'm going to compile them into a collage for the end of Week of AI.
I love it. Okay, I've got. Do you want me to just like pick randomly, or do you want me to pick one of the ones where it has like a really positive?
Up to you.
Positive thing. Okay.
Your presentation, your criteria. I'm just giving away something.
All right. I'm just gonna do this and sort it. Hold on. Sort it. Most recent. Because everyone looked pretty engaged. Everybody got it. It gives you like emojis. Everybody was getting a happy emoji. So all right, we've got Rachel L is inquisitive about ancient Egypt's daily life. So Rachel L, if you are here, you win.
Rachel Lemansky. I know Rachel. I got to meet Rachel in Michigan. She's awesome. Rachel, go to weekofai.ai, look at the merch, and just shoot me a message on Twitter of what you want, and I'll get your address from you, and I'll ship it tonight at the end of our streams. Every day I'm shipping cool goodies out. So
Awesome.
on that note,
Yay,
it is
thank you guys.
7:15, and I present next with Brett. So hopefully you guys, there are three, or actually Heather's stream is canceled, so don't go over to Heather's stream. She had a family emergency, so there's only 2 streams going on, stream 1 and stream 2. Stream 3 is not going on at 7:15. But hopefully see you at the next session. Thank you so much for a very insightful presentation. I enjoyed it a lot, and have a good rest of your night.
Yay. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you being here.
Guys.